Everyone, my name is Kelly Hale. I'm a social studies teacher in Highlands Ranch, Colorado, and today I thought I would start my presentation with a joke. What does the acronym NIV stand for? Some of you may have guessed the New International Version, but in actuality it stands for the Non-Inspired Version. Now, to be honest with you, I didn't come up with that joke myself. In college, one of my history professors told it to me. He was an old Southern Baptist preacher, and for him, the only version that counted was the King James Bible. At first, I kind of wrote him off, but after reading this week's book, I began to question myself. For this week's assignment, I chose to read chapter 2 of Daniel Dreisbeck's work, Reading the Bible with the Founding Fathers. In that chapter, Dreisbeck traces the origins of the English Bible and the impact it had on early American settlements. Prior to the Protestant Reformation, the Bible was only published in Latin and Greek. The Catholic Church chose to do this because they wanted to control the message itself. After the Protestant Reformation, however, the idea of a priesthood of believers meant that everyone should read the Bible for themselves to know what it said. In England, John Wycliffe and William Tyndale published early versions of the Bible in English, and surprisingly, instead of being celebrated as heroes, they were persecuted as heretics. In fact, William Tyndale himself was burned at the stake for publishing the Bible in English. By the 17th century, however, things began to change with the publication of the King James Version. According to Dreisbeck, no other book has had a greater impact on the English language than the Bible itself. To make the Bible, new words were developed, grammatical structures were maintained and developed, and the English language was codified and standardized for the first time. Some people have even argued that without the King James Version of the Bible, Tyndale, and Wycliffe, perhaps Shakespeare wouldn't be a thing. The King James Bible also had a profound impact on the education system in America. Early American settlers like the Pilgrims and the Puritans stressed the importance of literacy so that others could read the Bible. The Old Deluder Satan Act of 1647, for example, which many consider to be the first public education law in the country, required all Massachusetts Bay townships to establish literacy education for the purpose of reading the Bible and fighting off that old deluder Satan. The unique structure of the King James Bible also makes it a good book for literacy instruction. The average word length inside the Bible is a little over 4 letters, and in total, it only had 6,000 unique words. This meant that many people could approach it and read it for the first time, and since it was so widely published, everybody had access to it. The Bible also, according to Dreisbeck, had an important impact on the legal system. To see that, one only needs to walk to their local courthouse. Many early courthouses had the 10 Commandments embossed either on the side of the building or in a statue in front of it. John Adams said of biblical principles, if every member were obliged to follow them in conscience, it would lead to temperance, frugality, industry, justice, kindness, and charity towards all. Now, not everybody in early America believed the Bible was central to American education. Jefferson got quite a bit of controversy when Jefferson objected to putting the Bible and the New Testament in the hands of young school children because they weren't old enough and mature enough to make spiritual decisions for themselves. I think it's important to note 2 things about Jefferson's views, however. First, he didn't say that the Bible shouldn't be in schools. He said that the Bible shouldn't be given to young children in schools. Secondly, Jefferson and many of the other founders had a great respect for the Bible. Even though Jefferson questioned the miraculous tales told in it, he believed that Jesus was a sublime teacher of moral truth. To conclude, Daniel Dreisbeck argues that the Bible had a profound impact on early American culture, language, law, and education. And I agree with him. By 1776, the Bible was firmly established in the colonial language, education, and law. And while some may argue that the Enlightenment and other secular principles impacted the founders, it's difficult to separate them from the biblical education they probably had. Biblical faith helped them express their beliefs and attitudes, even if they didn't believe in it. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.